welcome to episode 97 of the Wrist Cheese Radio podcast, your place for horological hot takes, taboo topics, and often unpopular watch opinions. My name is Schmidt, and as always, I am joined with my good buddy. You guys know him. You love him. He sells some pink straps sometimes. Mr. Bro Dinky. Bro Dinky, what's up, man?
What up? What up? Having a pretty good start to my week here. As you know, this is my week's beginning today. Kicking ass and taking names in my football pool. 12 out of 15 picks against the spread right now, hoping to nail number 13 tomorrow, maybe take the weekly prize. Week 1, that's my favorite because then everything else is gravy. I've already paid my entry fee off, I'll just pocket that and then just try to get creative the rest of the way, so that'll be sick. Aside from that, I got the big guys first day of school tomorrow. Gonna go in a little late. Yeah, gonna take him for that. Yeah, outside of that, just enjoyed my weekend. I got with the kiddies. Maybe made some watch memes you might have seen.
Yes, and just a few.
Yes, and sold a bunch of pink straps. So I believe we're right around 50% sold at this point.
Wow.
Which means we are up over the 10K range, which is also awesome.
Good for you guys. Thanks for buying pink straps.
Yeah, so... And the pictures have been really good. I got to say, the photography this year, and I think probably the rubber is just a little more photogenic than the sailcloth was.
Yeah.
But people are slapping those things on everything, and they are looking good. So kudos to all of you folks. What's going on with you there, boss?
Nothing too much. Received my version of the pink straps in this week, so I was excited to get that. Threw it on Speedy. Gifted one of them to my buddies who was in Hawaii during the drop. So he could not order it easily.
First world problems,
I know,
my friend.
Such first world problems. But yeah, gifted him that this weekend. So that was really cool. He was super excited, super pumped. But yeah, man, hanging out, catching up on all my dad duties. This week I am not on the road, which is fantastic. And just trying to catch up with my kids, watching Paw Patrol and all kinds of crazy stuff. So here we are.
Chase is on the case. All right.
Yes, shout out to all the dads out there who know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. It was that, or I was just going to go into the Bluey theme song. So
Rubble on the double.
No, you know it. I don't know what the hell a Mighty Pup is, but apparently that's in there somewhere too.
It's the new thing. It's the new Paw Patrol movie that's coming out this month. So be ready. They get superpowers from an asteroid. So
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, and so complete segue, but yeah. So I was watching. There was like if you have Paramount Plus, you get all the Paw Patrol shows and everything like that. And apparently one of the episodes was like an elongated episode. It was almost like a special episode, but it was about 45 minutes instead of like the usual like 20 minutes or whatever. And essentially like the Paw Patrol finds this asteroid that like hits the ground and it gives them powers. And now they become like super pups or whatever. So long story short, this is the basis for the new Paw Patrol movie that's coming out with like really cool graphics and everything at the end of this month.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now that asteroid thing,
I saw the trailer. It looks pretty sick.
I'm just saying, that's having had a job in my teens where I worked in a comic store. That is the storyline beginning of a many
90% of the comic book industry.
Yeah,
An alien asteroid crash landed, gave us superpowers. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of lazy, but it's for the kids.
Yeah.
Right?
They don't know. Well, you know what it is? They're only 4 years old. They don't know about all that other stuff. So it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Not there yet.
Right. So we've got a fair amount of new stuff this week. And I guess we'll lead it off with Tag Heuer because I gave them a good drubbing. What can I say? That was like the worst timed drop of all time.
I know. And it just like, what's worse is it's just like, it was, you can't predict it. And
no, you can't. And even I almost feel bad for them because they technically had theirs scheduled a day before, And then
Hmm.
the articles came out a day before that, and they got hoodwinked. So
Yeah.
they had their things in order, and they just got one upped,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
bamboozle.
Yo, bamboozle. So,
But so we got a Tag and Porsche collab, and we've
yeah.
talked about this before. How many of them have been pretty corny and
Yes.
either usually
More than
really
corny.
really
More than
big or really ugly or whatever it might be. This one, not bad. 42 millimeters for a chronograph is pretty reasonable. It's a handsome watch, I gotta say.
Yeah, it looks good. It's based off the glass box that they've kind of revamped, at the end of last year going into this year, and kind of everything's now based off of that collection. What's interesting about this watch is it has a completely useless complication. And I'm not just talking about the chronograph, but it's like a specialty version of the chronograph. So earlier this year, I think, bro, we talked about there was like a 50th anniversary of like a specific 911.
Yep.
And we got like that white and blue version of the Carrera, and we hated it. It was like on NATO strap. It wasn't look. It was just very corny. But apparently, this is like 60 years of both brands. So it's like we got a 50-year anniversary, and then we got a 60-year anniversary, like within months, which I thought was kind of interesting. But getting back to the watch itself, it's a very good looking watch, but it has this really, really unique complication. So apparently it's called a chrono sprint. And the reason for that is because as you engage the chronograph, you'll see that there's kind of a red delineation within the first kind of 20-second intervals on the watch. But the Carrera second hand will drastically increase in speed and cover that distance in about 9.1 seconds. This is designed to mimic the original acceleration speed or the timing that it would take an original 911 to hit 100 kilometers per hour. It was 9.1 seconds, which is cool. And then apparently the chronograph is supposed to return back to normal speed or slow down enough to resume normal timekeeping, I
Well,
guess.
there's my question: is okay. I get that's a cute little trick, but if it doesn't slow down enough to get back to normal time and then hold normal time, what the hell are you actually timing?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that
The other
seems
thing,
like a lot of thought and a lot of mathematics, and I'm not sure people are that good, to be honest, in
yeah,
mechanical watches with all that, room for error and things. I'm curious if this thing works the way it's supposed to, or if it's just arbitrary after 9 point whatever seconds, and you're just getting who knows.
yeah. I don't know either. But the other thing too, I thought was funny, and again, this is kind of a small thing that only psychopaths like myself would notice, is when you look at the actual product photos that are kind of like the computer rendered versions, the Carrera logo is in the traditional Tag Heuer font. But when you see some of the production photos, like the actual live shots, it's in the Porsche Carrera font. So I'm like, which one is it?
Oh,
Which one is actually going to be on the watch?
that's interesting.
Because I'm like, I'm wondering if these like production photos were kind of like, hey, we haven't been able to reach an agreement legally if we can use the Carrera typeface yet. Maybe we'll just shoot the photos now in this font. And then later on, they're like, oh, yeah, we got the permission. So we're printing the dials in the 911 font. But I thought that was kind of interesting, right? That it's like there's two different versions, and like I don't know which one is the actual production uh, of this watch,
Yeah,
which is
maybe they were
interesting.
both photographed as prototypes and they just went with one.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I
But
don't know.
overall, I got to say, I like it. I like the white and red scheme. I like the way that
It's
they've
nice.
sort of incorporated the athleticism of the motorsport into this without being clunky and ugly. So I appreciate it. I think it's a good looking watch. Again, ill timed, not entirely their fault, but
Yeah.
unfortunate. Do you know how many people go to the meme of Will Ferrell that I made? Look at how many people in that comment section are like, "This is the first I heard of this watch."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that tells you what exactly happened there.
I mean, it's yeah. that whole day was just like a blur, and there were so many things that were launched within the same time, and it's
I
just kind of
know.
like completely eroded from memory. It gets memory hold so fast because everything else takes yeah, exactly, everything else takes precedent. But overall, I like to watch. I think the mechanism is a little gimmicky. Somebody commented on that on one of the forums that I wrote, which I agree. I mean, I think it is gimmicky, but I think overall, there's not really a whole lot of people who are actually using their chronograph to time stuff. It's more just about what it represents and the fact that it looks cool. I like the way that they had subtly incorporated, the Porsche name logo kind of on the chapter ring on the outside that carries over with this like beautiful glass box kind of bezel. I think that's really cool. The only thing I didn't like is they put 911 on the strap. I get it. I just don't like that it's like on the 6 o'clock side,
Mm,
you know? Because like when you think about like the 911, like where's the logo on the car? It's on the back,
on the back.
right?
Yep.
So like why wouldn't you put it on the back side of the strap?
Well, also, you would want other people to see it, not yourself.
Exactly. So I'm just, but again, they do backwards buckles that don't make sense. So I guess it's kind of par for the course, right? Um, like the upside down folding clasps, but what do I know?
Yeah,
There you go.
but overall,
It's
yeah,
cool.
not
It's
bad, not bad.
it's an expensive watch, $9,200. So unless you really love Porsche and you really love Carreras and tags, this may or may not be the watch for you.
And I
But
think you can get a rose gold one for much more.
yes, yes, you definitely can get a rose gold one for all you fancy boys out there at just over $23,000 US. So there you go. It's expensive.
I gotta say,
Um,
Super Troopers ruined Porsche for me because every time I think Porsche, I think of the dude he pulls over, who's European. He's
yeah,
got
yes, the
right
mustache ride guy.
mustache ride guy. And he says like,
Yeah,
I can't afford another ticket on my Porsche, and and he's playing the song Bow Wow, and I just
yeah,
like
yeah,
crack up every time I like think about that. So I can't look at the word anymore. It just makes me laugh.
yeah. Oh man, that's so funny.
It's
I
a
didn't even
classic.
think about that, but now I can't
Yeah, and
unthink it.
enjoy all you folks out there.
You know exactly what we're talking about, and that's the point. But yeah, back to memory hold watches. This one quickly slipped away from a lot of people, so sorry, Porsche.
As did many, many others. In fact, Panerai released 5 watches in one shot. 5 under the Navy
Uh,
SEALs collection. I guess I don't think any of them are terrible. I like some better than others.
yeah, they're not bad.
No, the green one you pointed out is a little wild.
Yeah, that one's probably the coolest one, but I mean, it's also the most considerably expensive one at 61,700 US. But it's also one of those Panerai experience watches,
Uh-huh.
which means that when you buy it, there's only 70 that'll ever be produced, but when you buy it, you actually get like some type of Navy SEALs experience. Now, is that just a bunch of military guys hazing you for like 2 days? I don't know, but somehow it's cool. But I think that there's a cool complication on this that I need more clarification on. But when you look at the actual watch, it's a two sub dial register chrono. You have a start stop pusher with a flyback complication.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a secondary pusher, almost like a Rattrapant, but it on the dial it says time to target. So like it looks like you can almost engage this and it will count down the minutes until you need to like intercept a target or do something militaristic, which is something I've never seen before, but it looks pretty sweet. Um,
Yeah, that, or I guess if you're going to be a bomber, right, you would have to drop in advance of the target,
I mean, potentially. I mean, you also
right?
have that flyby complication too. So that was the reason why they were developed was for bombing runs, right? Because you had to instantaneously start your chronograph, reset it, while it was continuing to run. If not, you would be miles off course. So it's interesting. I don't. I don't exactly know what it is supposed to do or how it works exactly, but the watch looks pretty cool. It is 47 millimeters. So for all of you petite Danny Milton wrist guys out there, this may probably will not be the watch for you, but I can't imagine for a lot of you at $61,700, it is the watch for you. But it looks cool. It's in an aged stainless steel, which it seems like more and more brands are doing that these days.
I don't like it.
You know, I get it, but like, like why age it? Can you just like sandblast it?
Yeah, or it's gonna happen anyway. So
It's kind of like, we saw that with the Clive Cussler, Doxa.
yeah,
We've seen it with this one. I think there was another couple watches that came out that had like the aged stainless steel look. Somebody will probably drop them in the comments or anything like that. But um cool watch. I don't hate it, but I'm certainly not dropping $62,000 to buy it.
if I had one of these and I was sitting on my toilet made of gold, I would time my own bombing runs. Although I do have to
Oh my
say
god.
the other submersible, the one with the steel bezel GMT, I think that one looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. With the yellow
It's
accents,
very
yeah.
clean, it's very just sporty. I've always liked the submersible look, so that one I think is my fave of the bunch.
And I like too that now they're doing like different colored crowns on this collection, which I thought was cool.
Mm,
I also love that the second hand almost looks like a radar,
I see that, yeah.
like the or like a crosshair, like on a rifle scope or something like that. Like that to me is cool. It's a subtle way to incorporate kind of the militaristic design and the theme, but still make it where it doesn't come across as kitschy or awkward. I think this one looks cool. Now, the only thing I don't know is like where does the yellow color scheme play into Navy SEALs? I think it would have been probably cooler to do like a military green or like a blue or something like that. That to me would seem more in line, but maybe I'm missing something because I'm not in the Navy SEALs.
I mean, unless it's supposed to just be able to pick it up at a moment's
Quicker,
notice type thing. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, it could be. But at $10,600, not an inexpensive watch by any stretch. But I guess when you're looking at Swiss-made GMT watches, that's not too out of the realm of cost these days. But still a lot.
Yeah. So Breitling also dropped what looks like 5 watches. Interesting, technically Navatimers,
Hmm.
but not in the sense we know them as. These are in
Yeah,
36 and what, 32?
32. Yeah,
So these
yeah,
are
32.
tiny, tiny Navatimers. Mostly pretty feminine looking, a lot of jewels. There's one that might not be. Is that looks like a 36.
There's
But
there's a 36 like anthracite or kind of like a black dial with no diamonds or anything like that. And there's also that mint green that we saw on the
mhm.
proper Navitimer that came out now in the 36 millimeter size as well. So there are a few different versions that are not quite as feminine, but just keep in mind that the 36 millimeters, I believe, are mechanical, and the 32 millimeters will be a Breitling quartz.
Hmm. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know it's not like outside of the realm of possibility, but I never really liked because when you think Navitimer, you think of that full dial, lot going
Yep,
on,
yep. Slider rule
a lot of
bezel chrono.
functionality, chronograph. Yeah, I don't like when they double up with the names. Like, just make up a sub name that signifies this is less cool. Like Tag does with the Carrera, like that. Like they have the Carrera and then they have the time only Carrera, which is way lamer.
Yeah, but I mean, they do the same thing, right? Like,
Yeah, but the Carrera chronograph is cool. Time only
yeah.
Carrera, take it or leave it.
And speaking of Carrera chronograph, I'm waiting for the day we get the hot pink Carrera chronograph glass box.
That'd be neat.
It
Be
would
down
be
to check
neat.
that out. I mean,
It
hey, if
would
they're
be
gonna
neat.
go full send Barbie, why not, right?
Why not?
Why
This
not?
is this is the time. What the heck is this?
Uh oh.
The Navitimer BO1 chronograph diamonds.
Hmm.
That's new.
Check it out.
So I guess while we're on the subject of Breitling, I guess Breitling released two watches in the Navitimer traditional one, BO1 caliber, with a diamond case and bezel.
Wow. Breitling goes bust down.
They do. And when did Breitling start going back to 46 millimeter Navitimers? I thought we were done. I guess, eventually you just have to go back to I think you just have to go back to what John Travolta made popular, I guess.
Yeah, this is a disappointing looking watch.
That's what would it put it.
Oh well.
Oh gosh.
Oh well.
Yeah, the most exciting launch was the traditional Navitimers for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But those came out last year
I think
or
so,
this
yes.
year?
No, last year, right? When George was on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Okay. All right. I can't remember. There's too many watches these days.
Yep.
But yeah, so Navitimer 36 looks like you got a opaline dial, no diamonds, anthracite dial, bracelet or strap, mint green dial, no diamonds, bracelet or strap. Then you got a mother of pearl two-tone diamond indices, solid gold, mother of pearl dial with diamond indices. Then in the 32 millimeters, you have a steel case, mother of pearl diamond indices, light blue mother of pearl diamond indices, pink mother of pearl diamond indices, and then it looks like a two-tone mother of pearl diamond indices and solid gold mother of pearl diamond indices. So obviously a lot more feminine options. But I
I mean,
guess if you're a man and you want to rock a 36, there are a few versions that you could pull off.
all right. That about wraps it up on that one. I don't need to talk anymore about that. Uh, what else? We got
Tell
a
me how you really
couple
feel, bro.
other. No, we can move on. So those
Oh
uh
no.
those those brew watches I was talking about that I almost accidentally leaked on the show
Yeah.
came out with Worn and Wound. They're regulators, which is pretty cool. You get a few different flavors. Looks like there's a green, blue, and red. The green is
Yep.
pretty it's a subdued green. It's not a very
Yeah. So
vibrant green.
the official color code is moss green,
Okay.
and then ruby red, and then sky blue. I don't know, man. That sky blue is looking pretty wrist cheesy, if you ask
It
me.
is. It is. It needs a little more black, but aside from that, like if the subdials were colored in black, forget about it.
John, come on,
That and the bean.
come on. Let's make it happen. Come on, let's
But
do
I
it.
like I like the colored pushers. That was a
Yeah, it's cool, man. I
cute
like it.
addition.
So it's a regulator style chrono, which is so weird. I don't think I've ever seen this done before. Have you?
No, but I also don't typically pay attention to much of what the functions actually do because I'm not going to use them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a quartz chrono, but it's just funky because you basically make it very easy to you're segmenting all the components out. So you have an hour totalizer, but that totalizer is actually your hour hand,
Right.
and then you have a large minute hand. Then you have a minute totalizer and second totalizer, and then it looks like at 6 o'clock that's your running seconds.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's cool. I mean, I think it's very cool.
It's
I
also
really like the sky blue one, and I love it's a subtle detail, but one that I certainly appreciate is I love that the hour hand is at the right, kind of this right sub dial. It's at basically like a 2 o'clock position, and the guillotine for the dial, these like concentric circles radiate out from the hour.
mm,
So it radiates out from the right side of the case and almost ripple effects across the dial.
that is a
But
good
it's
touch. It'll always
yeah,
help you find where you got to be.
yeah, exactly. It naturally pulls your eye to that sub dial, and that way you can determine, this is the hour. But it's something that I haven't seen before on a watch like this, micro brand or otherwise, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I also think it's neat that the circles kind of go out beyond the rehaut there.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
if you look, it goes out. I don't know if that's. I mean, I guess that's underneath the crystal still, so it's not the case. I don't think,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
but it's neat. It's a neat little
Yeah, it's like
additional texture.
the ripples keep going.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I didn't notice that right now until you just said that. But it's almost looks like it's like the spacer underneath the case in the
I think
crystal,
so.
maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, that's cool though. What a neat feature. It's a
Yeah.
great looking watch.
And it's a great '90s rap track regulator.
Come on, man.
Come on,
Come
everybody
on.
likes Warren G.
Oh,
All right. Aside from that, we got that green Alpinist GMT I was talking about that was definitely coming, and it's here. And well, it's not here; it's in Japan, and that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I
of
was
course
gonna
they
say.
keep the good stuff for themselves.
I was gonna say. Didn't we call that too?
I mean,
We called it.
you knew it was coming. It
No,
had
I
to be.
know, but we called it and we're like, okay, this is probably going to be logical. This is going to come out too because everyone's going to want it. Sure enough, they delayed it and they released it right after everyone started crying about it that they didn't get it. But I think we were talking about the fact that they were like, yeah, they're only going to make a Japanese domestic market only.
Yeah, definitely.
And sure enough, this is what they did.
Shocker.
Shocker. Yeah, big shocker, right?
So we got
So,
that. They also put out a few, I guess, new flavors of watches that already existed. If you are familiar with the solar speed timers they put out, sort of the newer ones, they now have those in red, yellow, and blue. They look really neat. They're very sporty. They're very like motorsports. So I don't know. I like the yellow. Honestly, it's a really nice yellow. And the blue looks a lot like the blue that they used on the old speed timers, like the old like Seaver, I think it was.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I really like the yellow because again, you don't really get a lot of opportunities for a cool yellow watch. So that and then the cheaper of the 62 Moss reinterpretations, the 41 millimeter version that they've
Yeah.
had out that everybody kind of hopped on a couple years ago. They run about like $900,000, I think. So they
Mm-hmm,
put out three
mm-hmm.
new colors of that. One's a very vibrant blue, another one's a dark blue, and then a third one is sort of a gray to black gradient. Not incredibly newsworthy, but new stuff just to keep your eye out for coming up.
I can't wait. Can't
Mm-hmm.
wait.
And I guess that brings us to probably the most notable drop of the weekend. In case you're living under a rock, we got a new Swatch collab that everybody was talking about. We talked about in the last episode and sort of what
What it
our
could be.
ideas for it would be and such. Some of it was pretty spot on, I gotta say. Right,
Yeah.
I had mentioned a no-rad. There is a no-rad dial. I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned one with
No,
a
no. What you mentioned was taking all the different types of dials that they had used over its lifetime and incorporate that into a new collection, which you
yep.
were 100% correct on.
All right, we got a one with a little water ingress indicator, which I like
Oh, it's my
personally,
favorite. It's my favorite.
and then some more traditional stuff. I think people are kind of bummed they didn't get a black one.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand that, but I think given the tie-in to, I mean, because you know the inspiration from the color scheme, right?
The only one I don't get is the yellow one.
Okay, so a lot of people were like, these colors don't necessarily make sense. So the idea was Blancpain made five distinctive watches for all five of the world's oceans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, within those particular things, because Blancpain is a big company that does a lot of stuff with ocean conservation, right? So one of the things that they wanted to kind of highlight here was ocean wildlife.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Okay.
I thought it went beyond that. I didn't know that that was the 100% inspiration for each one of these.
Yeah. So basically, ocean wildlife here, and basically Blancpain and Swatch took the colors for each one of these models based on nudibranches that reside in each one of these respective oceans. So when you look at the actual case back of the watch, what you see here is a depiction of the ocean that's been laser etched into the actual movement plates. But over top of that, in traditional System 51 fashion, you have a see-through oscillating weight, and on the top of the oscillating weight is actually a depiction of that respective nudibranch for the watch. So the yellow and black one, the nudibranch is actually yellow and black.
So, if I may, being that watch interwork is not my forte. However, my degree in biology, the term is nudibranch, my friend.
Well, whatever.
Not that you would know that
okay,
in case, unless you took a an animal kingdom class or something. But yeah, nudibranchs are a shellless sea slug, and they're usually very vibrant, and they're pretty cool animals. And I there are a few people who are very science geeky that I kind of go back and forth with, and we had a good bunch of laughs about it this weekend, just talking about silly stuff that you learn and you have no use for. But like, this is perfect example of that. And but yeah, so I mean, I did hear about that.
Yeah, at first I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, I thought somebody was running something out there that I was like, okay, all right.
There was a YouTuber who posted about it like a week before the launch. He's like, I'm getting this secret intel, and you're like, dude, really? Sea slugs? And he was right. He was right. So I got to give credit where credit's due. He was right. He definitely had somebody on the inside for sure.
Yeah, because you would never just arrive at that.
No,
not in your life.
No, no, never. I mean, I was like looking at the Indian Ocean. I was like, I guess it's kind of the colors of India.
Well, that was what I was thinking at first look. I was like, all right, Indian flag, sure, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, it's definitely not. It's the nudibranch. Oh, yes, the nudibranch, right? Or
nudibranch. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely like a send nudes joke in there somewhere that I don't know. I couldn't get it on paper and make it work, but in my head I was like, haha, nudes.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love them. I know that they're getting so much good press and so much negative press right now, and every single person has an opinion on them, and I get it. I think that they're sick. I think they're very cool.
I think the white is head and shoulders above everybody else.
I agree, but in typical Swatch fashion, I wouldn't pass up the opportunity on any of them. I think that they're sick. I had a buddy of mine who's like, I want the green. I'm like, okay, well, if I find one, I probably wouldn't want the green myself, but if I find one, then yeah, I'll just sell it to you. But I think my favorite for sure is the Antarctic. I think it's very cool. It's a colorway that I really don't have anything that looks like it. I can envision it like on a nice gray tropic, which I think would be sick. The blue one is also really nice too. The dark blue.
I think that's where I would go next. I probably would like the red a little more if it wasn't on a red strap. Like, it's just a lot of red going on between the no red, the bezel, the strap. Like, I feel like if I took it off
I think it's more orange actually. It's like it's like a burnt orange. Yeah, it's like a tan case but burnt orange strap and bezel.
I feel like if I could take it off of that strap, I think I would like it more.
And that's going to be the biggest challenge, because what I noticed on these, and I don't know if you caught this, but it looks like the spring bars are fixed.
I think so too. I think you can only slip something in there.
But I know that Blancpain traditionally has like screw pins that screw into their cases. So this is actually taking something from Blancpain. Because somebody mentioned about this, but it looks like it might be removable. You just have to be, it's one of those systems where basically you would have to unscrew it from both sides at the same time. Yep.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
So like you could stick a head in one side and you could stick the screwdriver in the other and screw it out, but it's not a screwdriver tip. Like it's like it almost looks like a square drive drill bit,
Yeah. I've seen that before. I feel can't remember which watch I played around with that had that, but I remember having to do that. And I was like, oh, okay.
But I mean, who knows? Who knows if that's the case? But I will say this: all the strap makers out there, I don't think your quick release spring bars are going to work on this one, buddy.
Nope.
You'll probably have to do a solid no quick release and just have a nice channel for a big pin to fit through. Um, but I think something like that, like a tropic in each one of these colors, man, would be sick. But here's the thing. I'm gonna say this right now. Here's the thing. The biggest mess for, or I should say, the biggest miss for all the Moon Swatch straps that came out is that the colors of the buckles never match the watch cases. If anybody's out there listening, I'm giving you $1 million idea. Make your tropic straps or whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to do, but you got to design them to that so that they match the colors of the case. You got to do it. Just for us OCD people out there, it'll drive you nuts. I hated that. I've always hated that. It's like I look at my Mars. I'm like, oh, beautiful red watch, beautiful red strap, steel buckle.
Yeah, that's annoying. If you're gonna do that, you have to put
you got to, man. You got
plastic
to.
hardware.
Yeah. Or PVD it, if you're gonna do a steel buckle, totally fine. But PVD it so that it can match potentially the case. Give us a light gray, give us a green. You can do it. It costs more money, sure, but that means you can charge more money. But make it so that it fits the actual watch itself. The only one I saw starting to do this was Oris straps, because they started making like plastic buckles to fit their silicone rubber straps for their watches, and they were in the same kind of case colors as the Moon Swatches. It was the only one that started to do something a little different.
Yeah, and now these are automatic, which is
Yeah.
probably also partly why they're $400. But I did not know. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that these movements have a 90-hour power reserve.
Yes. So in the original System 51 had an 80-hour power reserve. But somebody told me the same thing, and I haven't been able to find it myself to confirm, but I believe that they are 90 hours. That's what I've heard, which makes sense because Blancpain traditionally does 120-hour power reserves on their watches.
Mm.
A lot of their watches are in that high power reserve.
Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, oh, that's pretty high for, a pretty
I mean, look,
low-end
people
movement.
people want to talk crap about the System 51. It is a fantastic little movement. Is it serviceable? No, potentially not. But this one, I know the case back is a snap-on. So potentially there's a way to get access to the movement. Now, does that mean that Swatch will be able to service it, or will they just swap out the dial and the movement and snap the case back on? I don't know. I don't know. But eventually even your Moon Swatch potentially isn't that serviceable anyway once the movement stops working. So, yes, the battery can be changed, but that, how many years did that actually get you? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think people need to get off their high horse about certain things and need to realize that, things are expensive, but this is a very cool movement. It's a very cool watch in its design cue. I was honestly surprised how much I like the collection. I think a lot of people were, and I think everyone now is just trying to like throw shade at it because they know that they like it and they know they're going to buy it anyway. But now they have to like justify to everyone. It's like, why? It's, yeah, I'm a collector. I have to get one, but it's not that great. There's so many other watches out there that are that great, But I'll be honest with you, man. I've owned a System 51 for years and years and years. I've never had an issue with accuracy. I've never had an issue with performance issues. I've had a fantastic experience with the power reserve. It's a very cool watch, and I'm excited to pick one of these up. I don't know which one I'll get. I'll have to wait some time before I can really start trying to hunt one down because I got to go to different cities where I can get access to a Swatch store. My dream goal is to have the Arctic for sure, but regardless, I think these are sick. And again, swatches laughing to the bank. Anybody that's throwing hate and shade, you know what? Hundreds of people lined up all over the world to buy this damn thing.
Yeah, by the same token, everybody lines up for any of the garbage Rolex puts out, though. So
I,
I don't know if
I
that
mean,
stands up. I'm not. I wouldn't wait in line for a celebration dial or some nonsensical
me
poster
either,
official.
and that's why I didn't. And to all the people that did, I hope you were able to get what you wanted.
I was
And
curious about this. I didn't hear much about the supply. Everybody always, they always, when the Moon
I
Watch came
think
out,
that,
they said the store only had 60 watches. I didn't hear anybody gripe about the number of watches this time around. So I'm
but
curious about that.
I also think that was growing pains. The Moon Swatch got leaked. The Moon Swatch got leaked early, whether intentionally or unintentionally. I'm looking at you, Way. And you know what? It caused a massive hype storm because nothing like this had ever happened in the watch industry before. The marketing was on point. It's time to rethink your Omega. It's time to rethink your Swatch. Like, it was very mysterious and everyone was freaking out. So everyone lined up because they didn't know what it's going to be. And I think because of the leak, the Swatch group was not prepared for the drop. Had they just normally teased it on social media when it was supposed to, you would have had far less people show up. I mean, because you had to remember, this leaked like 3 or 4 days before the launch. So you had that many people waiting prior to the launch to get a Moon Swatch, right? This was, if it did leak, it was like 2 days. And given the price point, I think it was much more prohibitive for people. They're like, $400. That's much more of a choice.
Yeah,
You
it
know what
is.
I mean? $260, not inexpensive, still choice, but $400 is a little bit more of a conversation with regards to the price. I mean, that's quite a bit, you know. Um, so I don't know. People are going to throw shade on it. I think that they're cool. I would be happy with either one of the colorways. I think that they did a really good job. The no rad style is very cool. I love the fact that it's a legit moisture indicator. I also don't know if you noticed this, but the two ones that have the vintage kind of like Blancpain aesthetic, the text for Blancpain is also in its vintage typeface.
Oh yeah, yep,
Whereas the other ones that have like the 12369, they're more of the modern Blancpain
yeah. That's
font.
interesting.
So it's like they did some very cool like vintage things there that I love. And to me, I think that they did them right. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, well, to me, these are a little more. There's a little bit of a difference between buying a $260 version of a watch that's somewhat attainable.
Yeah.
Blancpains go for a ton of money.
Yeah.
Those are not very attainable. I mean, at least here you can get, if you were so all about it, you could pick up one of these. Okay, it's cool. It's you get a taste of it. It's a little different. Whereas, people can, I don't want to use the word afford, but people can buy a Moonwatch and maybe not, ruin their kid's college fund. Whereas a Blancpain, man, they just go up and up and up, and getting the models you want, it's expensive.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. And this one in comparison to the standard Moonwatch before, I've seen a lot of people surprised by the watch itself. I've seen a lot of people surprised by the lume. We have
I saw
applied
a good picture of the Lume. It looked pretty good.
the lume looks pretty good. You have applied indices on the dials. You have the vintage aesthetics, right? The no rad dial. You have the moisture indicator dial. You have fume treatments on these dials as well to give them gradient finish. Some have dates, so some have no dates. The bezel action I've heard has been pretty widely received as positive. It's got good action, 120 clicks. Now there's no screw-in crown, but I hear that the engagement for the date functions and the time setting is pretty good. Again, what more can you expect? Like, I saw somebody talking crap. They're like, "Oh, Oh, it's Federico. He's like, oh, this watch is only rated to 91 meters. And someone was like, yeah, bro, because that's 50 fathoms.
Derp.
And they even made it resistant to 50 fathoms. Okay. So it's even correct in the name, which is crazy, right? Like we expect, given modern water resistancy, that 50 fathoms is like this obscenely high number.
Yeah, it sounds like 20,000 leagues under the
Yeah,
sea.
exactly. And it's not. It's only 91 meters at 330 feet,
I mean, it's still plenty deep, but
you know? But again, you're going to have all these people who have no idea about these watches. All they're going to do is they're going to flip them and they're going to buy and sell them and trade them and whatever. I mean, Federico, he always highlights the stuff that he is going to sell in his Del Rey watch store, whatever. If you don't like it, bro, keep it moving. The rest of us who actually are enthusiasts in this actually want to own one of these things.
well, the no repair, no service people bother me because I'm gonna be dead serious with you. I know, like, I can count on one hand the number of people I know that have serviced a watch, and I don't know anybody who has serviced a cheap watch. So I'll just lay that out there, and I'm yet to meet somebody who will service a $400 watch, unless it
Yeah.
means very, very much so.
I mean, the only time I've ever had to do that is because when I bought it, it wasn't running within specs.
Right.
Okay. So that's the only time I've ever had to service a $400, $500 watch, mechanical watch. And guess what? It was a Hamilton. It had an 80-hour power reserve. It's based largely on the System 51 movements. So a lot of the technology that was derived and ended up in these 80-hour power reserve Swatch group movements came from the System 51. Now, is it all automated and assembled by machines and robots the same way the System 51 is? No, it's not. But is it the greatest watch given to the world? No, it's not that either. But you guys sometimes get too serious about watch collecting. Used to be fun.
Bro, not for
Like,
nothing. Robots assemble the car you drive.
I mean, exactly. I mean, let's be honest. If this was assembled by people, it'd be $1,000. What do you want? Okay, so an entire robot hand assembled this, or a machine automated assembled this watch. It uses 51 components or whatever it is. To me, that's cool. That's an engineering masterpiece. Is it the watch that's going to run forever? No, but you have probably 20 other watches. It's just cool. Like, collecting should be fun. And
You're not buying this for that purpose anyway.
again, exactly.
You're
And
not
again,
buying this to hand down to your grandson. Okay.
and let's just say this. Let's say you did. Okay, let's say that you did. We have no idea how an hermetically sealed watch is going to perform in 20, 30 years time from now. It may be completely okay because it's never been exposed to moisture or dust or anything like that, because the case itself is a vacuum. It's been perfectly sealed from the factory. You know what I mean? And, at the end of the day, you can still pop the case back off. So, of all the System 51s that exist in the world today, that's pretty good because most of them you cannot. My System 51, when it dies, if it dies, it'll be just a cool piece of history. And let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there who've inherited watches from their grandfather or great grandfather who don't function anymore
Yeah, they don't.
and can't be serviced anymore. But does that mean the sentimentality is now removed? No. It's just cool. So all of the usual suspects are going to clown on it and they're going to hate on it because you know what? They need to be clowning themselves. These are the people that monetize the watch industry. They're going to talk crap about it. They're going to do whatever they're going to do because at the end of the day, it's a financial benefit to them. They own a business. They trade in watches. They're looking to create a hype culture. And they're the problem. Collecting should be fun. And if you like it, go buy one. If you don't worry about it. Don't lose sleep over it. I guarantee you it's not going to devalue your Blancpain. Your Blancpain already did that itself.
Yeah, those are the other people I can't stand. And enough devaluing the brand, people.
It's
Enough.
just, it's like
Enough.
it's
It's
not gonna
dumb.
happen.
It's dumb.
If anything, it's gonna actually maybe help the brand. Let's be honest, Blancpain needs all the help it can get. It's a great brand, but it doesn't have resonance with people today. It's done amazing dive history things, but you know what? If you can't make it relevant, you can't market it, then nobody's going to care about it. And you got to stop making watches that are 45 millimeters. That ship has sailed. If you start making mass production Blancpain 50 fathoms in 40 to 42 millimeters, I guarantee you're going to start turning on more people. And guess what this size is? 42.3.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Rocket science. Everyone wants one. Now, had they made it in 45 millimeters, maybe that would be a different conversation. But I like it, man. I don't know, bro. What do you think?
I mean, I'm all for an inexpensive watch, at a good price. I hope that they could supply as many of these as need be. Because that's really what it is. At the end of the day, if everybody who wants one can get one in their hand, that'll also just marginalize the scalpers, whatever you want to call them, flippers. Uh, that's what I hope. If people who can get their hand want one of these can get their hands on them. I personally myself enjoy a cheaper watch. Anything that'll let you have fun and get your kicks for a low amount of money is always a good one by me. So, like I
Yeah.
said, I think they're fun. I think, like I said, I have my favorites of the group. Um, they're neat, they're novel, they cause a stir, they give me a lot of material. So,
I mean, I will say this though. The biggest sad part about this is not calling it the System 51 Fathoms.
well, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Even if you just went, I thought 51 fathoms would have been a cute play because you don't have to say, oh, it's a System 51. It makes sense. 51 fathoms.
Correct.
50 fathoms is a Blancpain. This is like a new evolution. 51 fathoms. I know it's not going to line up perfectly with the depth rating and all, but hey, it makes a lot of sense. 51 fathoms, short to the point. I think that might be the best one yet. I mean, I've heard thrifty fathoms. I was going Swatch pond just because I just needed a way to get people to understand what I was talking about without writing
Yeah.
Swatch
Yeah.
X Blancpain every time. So, I was
Yes.
interchanging
Yes.
Swatch pond and what was it? Blanc Swatch. But
Yeah.
aside from
Yeah.
that, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm leaning.
The thrifty fathoms, I'm not a big fan of, but the 51 fathoms
I
would have
think
been really
51
cool.
fathoms is probably the best name. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I agree. And I think the only reason why they probably did it was legal reasons.
That
Because
makes
I was
sense.
like, because again, it's like it's not rated to 51 fathoms; it's rated to 50 fathoms.
Well, aren't they supposed to do 20% past? So technically, I mean, you could get away with that shit, right?
That's an Omega thing. That's a Meta certification thing. But you are correct that they do the 25% fail safe margin. But no, man, I think system or I keep saying system 51, but I think 51 fathoms is certainly a missed opportunity. Maybe if it was possible to increase the water resistance a little bit more, you could have done that.
One
But
fathom.
I know, but I agree. I think overall the build quality is supposed to be really, really nice. I think the watch aesthetics are really cool. I like the tie-in. It's different than the planets that we saw with the Moon Swatch, but it's still relevant and still cool. It gave Blancpain a cool way to like play with color that when you look at the Blancpain collection, like that does not exist.
No, not
You
much.
know
You
what I
get
mean?
blue.
Like it's like blue or just black. And I get it, but like, could you imagine if we had like a
Ironic for
white dial 50 fathoms, like with a like an orange bezel or something like that? Like that'd be cool.
well, I was gonna say ironic for a company whose name is White Bread. All the watches are black.
Maybe that's why they're just like, oh, we're just gonna try to distance ourselves from this. But
Yeah.
it's cool. And honestly, the if they continue this collaboration, much the way that Moonswatch has, I mean, really for Blancpain, the limitations are only by the imagination. I mean, you could do sea turtle species, or you could do whales, or there's so many different avenues with which to direct the colorways and the change.
Yeah,
And
I was trying to figure out myself as to how they would special edition these, like they have with the gold or whatever moon swatches and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Not quite sure yet, but I try to figure it out.
No, yeah, for sure, for sure. But I think really, if you stick with the sea creatures, you can certainly do quite a wide range.
Yeah, I mean, you just go with ones people like, right? People like turtles, people like sharks.
I mean, yeah, could you imagine like a killer whale, or like a narwhal, or blue whale, humpback whale, like color motif for each one of these? They'd be pretty sick. Or you could do shark species, lemon shark, tiger shark, white shark, mako shark. What else do I remember? Greenland shark.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them,
There's
man.
a lot.
White tip, black tip, reef
Hammerhead.
shark, hammerhead, great hammerhead, um, nurse shark.
I think
There's a lot.
Mako's taken, but
Mako's taken. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mako's taken. But Mako's an awesome shark, man. It's a cool pelagic shark. It's a solitary hunter in the pelagic parts of the ocean. So deep ocean, no referencing to land. So they're basically the closest cousin to the white shark. Very cool. Sorry, I left sharks. If you couldn't tell.
well, tis the migratory season.
It is. It is. Oh, I was going to ask you, and I was going to bring this up when we talked about Seiko, but I completely forgot. Did you start the One Piece on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
Did you ever watch the anime?
No, I also
Okay.
haven't.
Okay. Well, I'm not one to really watch anime either, but I just threw it on as like something to watch in the airplane, and it's surprisingly good. It's very, very good. Now I'm watching the anime because I love the show so much. So now apparently it's apparently one of the longest ever created animes in history. It's like 17,000 hours or something like that.
Wow, jeez.
It's insane. It started out in 1997 and it's still continuing to this day. So there's a lot. They said if you had to watch everything start to finish without any breaks for eating or sleeping, it would take you like 19 days.
That's
I
good.
was
So
like,
you
oh
just
my God.
die in between.
Yeah, basically, you don't eat, you don't sleep, and
That's
you just
wild.
watch it straight, and it's going to take you like 17 to 19 days. I'm like, okay, I definitely don't have time for that, but I'll watch it in the background. It's cool. But yeah, if you're on the fence about watching the show, it's actually really good. And for anybody that may be friends of the manga or anime, the original creators actually helped consult on the project. So it's actually pretty close to the source material, but you can't really take 17,000 hours or whatever it is of stuff and condense it into one season. Kind of have to break it up a little bit, but it's good. So
Interesting.
I give it a watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's about pirates and special powers and cool stuff. So
That you get from an asteroid. Just kidding.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah.
guess you get it from an asteroid.
That's where you get it. Always. It's always an asteroid.
Oh man, that's so true. So true.
All right, my friend. Anything else going on?
No, man. That is it.
All right, just closing in on 100. That's pretty much it here.
We are. Yeah. Three more weeks.
Crazy.
We got to figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we'll find something. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, all you cats and kittens out there. We'll catch you next week. Schmitty, have a good one.
Was that a Tiger King
It was.
reference?
It was. I don't know why I was feeling very
I love it. I
Carol
love
Baskin right there. All right. We'll catch you next week on Rich Cheese Radio. Peace.
Take care.